Hello.
Hey guys, today is Meet Your Client Day, and I'm sitting with one of my famous clients, one of my
Oh,
favorite clients, um, Leo. So, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a bit
hi.
more about you and what you
Yeah,
do?
sure. Yeah. So I've known Silver for a while now. For like, my God, it's been like years now, like 2 or 3 years. And so I work mostly from home. So I do. I'm a creative, so that involves kind of quite sort of stop and start, irregular schedules, working from home. And I also run a company as well. So again, kind of a lot of kind of different. My schedule is rarely kind of consistent and kind of the same all the time. So yeah, that's what I do. And Silvet has added enormous value and kind of changed the way that I eat and the way that I kind of think about food. So yeah, we'll talk more about that in a minute. But
That's a great intro. So, I'm just going to shoot some questions at you because obviously I've known you for some time.
yeah,
So
yeah,
the first question I'm going to
yeah,
ask you is,
yeah.
as a customer of Zoll, can
Uh
you
huh.
tell us what does that mean to you and how has it impacted your life or your experience with the company? So let's start with experience with the company. What's your personal experience with Soul?
Well, I mean, it's quite wide ranging because I feel like from getting to know you, like on a personal level, and getting to know more about your background and kind of what it is you do and why it is you do what you do. I feel like I've learned a lot about food and about health and about kind of your the culture of the way you make food. But also, obviously, in a practical way, it's impacted my life. Um, I mean, the food I eat is I ate your food, and that's very nice. I enjoy that. It's changed my day in that I have more time, and it just stops me having to kind of think about kind of what I'm going to cook. It's never something I've kind of been particularly fond of, thinking about what to cook. I do enjoy food. I like it a lot, but I don't like to kind of think about it when I'm not eating it. I don't like to have to like plan ahead and kind of like do all of that stuff. It's a little bit. I mean, I've done it, but it's I find it a little tedious. I think I'd rather be thinking about other things ultimately. So yeah, it changed my life in that way as well, so that it kind of took that weight off and kind of. I mean, it was also exciting. It's also just fun. It's cool. Like, oh man, what's this going to be? How's this going to be? Um, so there's that too. Yeah, quite a few, and also I've learned just about health and kind of learn more about kind of functional health and kind of body. I mean, I kind of knew a lot of this stuff anyway, but hearing it from you're obviously you're very knowledgeable about kind of what it is you do and how what we eat impacts us. So yeah, I've learned a lot from.
Absolutely.
Mm,
I think a lot of time people ask me what makes you different from a meal prep company. I mean,
yeah,
what makes Zoll different
yeah,
from every
yeah,
meal prep company that's up
yeah.
there in terms of products, in terms of what we offer. Tell us a
Mm,
bit, tell us a bit about that in terms of your perspective. What do you
yeah.
think makes us different?
So I admit I haven't trialed like loads of I haven't kind of done loads of different kind of companies sort of for making food and things like that. I briefly used I mean years ago I used this kind of vegetable box thing for a little while, not for long. And they had some kind of meal prep stuff in there. I mean it was fine. It I mean what makes you guys, I mean kind of some of the stuff I've touched already is that you really, really are passionate about kind of making really personalized stuff. So what was different was that we actually sat down, me and you, to what you like, what are some kind of dishes that you enjoy, and how can we kind of work that into how this is going to work, and kind of a diet plan that was really cool and unique. I've not heard of anyone else doing something like that,
Yeah,
uh, and yeah, that was really different. I mean, the personalized level of service as well, just kind of like it feels like a kind of friendly support rather than some sort of company that's sort of I don't know and that I don't speak to. It feels like I do know you, I know you quite well, and so there's that as well. It's really personal. Um, I mean, the quality of the food as well, obviously, is I think I would argue it's very unique and it's exceptional. I think, yeah. So there's that. I mean, what else makes you guys unique? Those are the important ones, I think. Those are the important ones. And yeah, great service around. So yeah.
Key question, key last question.
Yeah.
Would you recommend us?
Oh, I would have to say yes. Yeah, I absolutely would. I just more about kind of yeah, I definitely would. I'd recommend you for anyone who is conscious of their health or who has some sort of health condition, where they have to kind of watch what they eat or they have to kind of be on a slightly strict diet. You definitely have a way of bringing that, making that kind of colorful. I think a lot of people think that restrictive diets are restrictive and boring and that, you know, are kind of a chore to keep to. That's not the case with you. I mean, I'm not on any diet, but if I was, I don't think I'd feel restricted by what you have to offer. You know, your food is very tasty. Your food is very interesting. It's diverse. It's creative. So it's certainly never boring. So yeah, I'd recommend anyone with a kind of health issue. I'd recommend for that. Also, anyone who just wants to kind of spice up their meals a little bit. So anyone who kind of wants to try something new, try something interesting. I mean, you've obviously got strong Caribbean influences in your food, which I happen to love anyway. I do love my Caribbean food. I love my Caribbean takeaway. But specifically about Caribbean food, what is different about yours is that it's not like when I go to my local Caribbean shop, or there's more now, so like several around here. Then it's nice to enjoy it, but it leaves me feeling a little bit. It feels like it doesn't feel healthy ever, really. It's tasty. I like it. It's hearty, and it's like, oh yeah, that's nice. But it's not. It's never. It doesn't feel clean. Which is a weird way of describing food, I know. But your food feels really clean. That was the first thing I thought actually after it. I tried your ackee and saltfish, and like the first thing I said was like, wow, this just feels really clean. This feels really tasty. It's got all the flavor, but it just it doesn't have the kind of grease or the sluggishness or any of that stuff afterwards. It just feels like I feel really energized. I feel like, oh wow, that was just like a meal. I could go back to work now and I can, you know, I'd have to like sit down and kind of so yeah. So I'd recommend I'd recommend you to anyone who likes Caribbean foods and who doesn't like the kind of heavy, sluggish feeling they get after their Caribbean. I would definitely recommend. Anyone with kind of I've said about health conditions already, but anyone with intolerance or who's just conscious of something like that. So obviously gluten free. I'm happy to eat gluten, but your cassava stuff is really good. It's really tasty. It's really. I'd recommend you certainly to anyone who kind of wants someone to really, who wants a personalized thing, you know, who wants personal service, who wants someone to kind of listen to what they like, to experiment a bit, to be creative around that, to kind of give you new things, you know, just to try it. I think everyone should try your food at least once. I think everyone would benefit from trying it.
I think so. It's amazing because, you know, my husband Rosario comes up with this creative concept of creating new and diverse products. And he had just created the new granola range that takes the athlete and takes individual's body on a journey. And he's created 5 ranges. So he's created like a nuts and seeds, high protein flavor, mixed fruit, cashew and chocolate, and now a new vegan range as well as muesli in 5 different flavors. So it's amazing to see how he always puts the customers first in terms of product innovation, but thinking, how can I make this better? How it's going to impact the client, but most importantly, that it remains authentic and tastes good. So it's amazing when you get, you know, you speak to the clients and they say how amazing the meal stays and the impact it's had on their bodies, and, you know, how our products have changed their lives. I mean, whether it be celiac or Crohn's or IBS or just footballers or athletes or just normal family members, tradesmen and women looking for that change in their diet, you know, and seeing those results is just phenomenal. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's highly personalized and it's it's tasty. I recommend you all round for sure. all round.
Thank you. Well, thank you
Yeah.
for taking the time to speak to me. It's nice
My-
catching up as always with all the customers just to get some feedback to see how they're feeling. And then we take it from there. So hugs, make sure you
yeah,
keep safe in this pandemic, and we will catch up soon.
definitely. Thank you.
Thank
Take
you.
care.